Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so housekeeping before we start. This is gonna be around 50 minutes, 1 hour. We are in Zoom, of course. We have a QA widget that you can use to ask questions. If you ask in the chat, the question is it's gonna be hard to answer. If you ask in the QA widget, it's gonna be easier for me to answer them. You can use the chat, of course, but use the QAs. Now, at the beginning, the people, Rafael asked me if we are going to record this workshop. Yes, we are going to record this workshop and we are going to send the playback more or less Friday this week. And as well, all the questions that you ask, you are going to receive. And as well, all the resources that I want to present today to you, you are going to receive all of this information in the next days. Now, who is this workshop for? Uh, Specifically, or it could be for everyone that is working with physical AI data, more specific with computer vision data, and want to use agents to automate some of these steps. But like if you are working with AI in the like physical AI world with computer vision models or multimodal models, you are in the correct place. And just like a quick icebreaker with the people that are here today. Um, if first, who is working in computer vision? If you are working in computer vision, just say yes to see more or less how many people is working in this area. In the chat, can you write yes or yes, I'm working in this in the chat? If you are working with computer vision or physical AI data in general. No, satellite image, cool, cool. Yes, okay. No, okay, it's fine, it's fine. For the people that is working in computer vision, what do you think is the most challenging step in this workshop? Is it annotation? Is it like modeling, like training the model? It's more like calculation. It's annotation. Okay, that's cool. What other thing do you think is challenging? Training and evaluation. Yeah, that's true. Yes, yes. Cool, cool. Perfect. We did a survey actually, and we found that um, the people that answer this survey think that the model is not good, and I am talking about physical data models, and they say that they are not good because sometimes they don't have enough data. That is a good point. Sometimes they have like errors in the annotation. That what annotation is a super big part of this workflow. So people say that they have drift. What is drift? You train the data with some specific amount of data. You train your model with a specific amount of data, and then you move the model and train with another one. But it's deep and sorry, and you move the model and test it in production. But because the data is different, that domain shift makes that the model is not good. And there are many other ways that you can have problems with your data. And this is exactly what we are going to explore today, but using agents. Why? That's going to be the main topic today. My name, I am Adonai. I am a ML engineering working in the DevRel team. Um, and if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, more than happy to connect and discuss about agents, computer vision. If you have a project that you want to share, or if you want something that you want to share in our meetups as well, you are more than welcome to send me a message and we would like to have you here as well, speaking and showing what you are building today. Cool. Okay, 6 main steps we are going to follow today. And it's very exciting because if you are an enterprise user or if you are an open source user, you're going to be able to get a good picture of what is happening with agents in 51 and how we build it. If you are working with your own agent, this is going to be a good practice as well for you. Um, First, we're going to talk about 51 as the harness. What is 51 and why I say that is this like as a harness? Then we're going to talk about tools, skills, MCP, Guardrails, how we created some of the tips that we found that are very good if you follow from day one. Which tools do we have available and more amazing stuff that you are going to be able to use in your daily. Um, the main goal of this and the reason why we decided to create and integrate an agent to our platform directly is because usually if you want to run all the computer vision pipeline, you have multiple scripts. You have to have a script that help you to compute embeddings, and then you define a model. You have a script maybe to filter some data that maybe has low confidence score. or you have a script to evaluate your model. You have another script to export your data set in a specific format like Coco or maybe TF record if you are using TensorFlow. Like you have all of these small pieces of, of code that you need to run together to put it in one place. And what we would like to do is we do all of this in 51. What if we use an agent, in this case, the agent, the 51 agent, to be able to automate all of this tools, all of these steps, and be able to give you the option to, with just a couple of sentences, be able to get information of what is happening with the system. And that's like the main idea. Things like, okay, let's filter low confidence detection, let's cluster in, let's apply embedding, let's cluster in using embeddings, and tell me where I am missing edge cases, or tell me where I have an unbalanced class that I should create or annotate more, just with text. You're gonna jump between session. I don't know if, yeah, if there any question, remember that you can use the QA. I am here to answer all the questions. Just let me know. Cool. Okay, let me tell you super quick the story of the agents, skills, and MCP in 51, just to give you more context. In November 25, last year, we launched the first MCP server. This is open source. You can go and you can use it, and that allows you to connect 51 tools with your internal agent, with your with your local agent. If you use Cloud Code, if you use anti-gravity, if you use any model, you can use this MCP to be able to give you tool to your agent to do some stuff. Then we found that many people was doing that, like using that, and we decided to integrate as well the idea of skills. That's why the next month we launched our first skills in the skill repo as well. That you can, I'm gonna share all of these resources, don't worry. But we share the skill, we create the skill repo where we give you like tools based on experience of developers in 51 that can help you to do multiple tasks. Don't worry if you don't know what is MCP. Don't worry if you don't know what is skills. I want to explain this in the next slide. But that was like the story. We create some skills. From January and June this year, we start to listen more the people, listen more the users, and we try to create things that the people need. That's why we create the skills of how to import a data set with a couple of lines, how to curate the data set, how to develop plugins. That is one of the most useful ones that we have. We create the skills like Playwright that allow you to, when you are creating the plugin, you can say, okay, use the 51 Playwright skills and validate it. And it's super cool because your local agent um, use the skills to create the plugin and then use the Playwright skill with 51 to validate all the buttons, all the content, everything that that the agent just creates. Right, like you close the loop. A very useful skill. And because the people is like keep using this, we decided to move to a 51 agents in production. We work multiple months to be able to launch the 51 agent on June, and enterprise people is using the agent, and now we have a new version that is gonna be released this month in August that has more features, and it's amazing. And that's something that I'm gonna show you today. Cool. Okay, let me just go for 51 and the harness. And that's one important piece of this story. 51 is this physical AI tool that you can use to do curation, annotation, data generation, evaluation, multimodality. You can do all of these steps in 51 using the platform, using the UI, and as well using the SDK. And what we try to do is, what if we compare this powerful tool that has all of these tools in a harness where you or your agent or whatever, it could be you yourself, it could be your agent, is able to do all of these tasks automatically. It's able to have all the tools, all the resources, everything to be able to perform the full pipeline of physical data. As I said before, curation, annotation, data generation, evaluation, and of course, work with multiple modalities. And that was what we did. We create all of these harness, or the harness was there. We modified this harness to be able to make it agent friendly, and where your agent can use it to understand your data. Perfect. Thank you so much for the patient. And okay, let's keep moving here. I was just saying that the harness of 51, in this case, the 51 play a big role here because now we have the 51 platform where you can do curation, annotation, data generation, evaluation, and we combine all of this with the agent, and now the agent can do all of these tasks automatically in a couple of clicks. That is like the powerful thing in this specific area. Um, cool. Okay, okay. Let's start the fun part and actually the powerful part. That is the anatomy of an agent. What is the anatomy of an agent? It's all the tools that connect the agent to make it robust and very successfully. And we have many, and we are going to explore all of this. We are going to start with skills. What are the skills and why it's important to create these skills with the agent? Then we are going to talk about memory. We are going to talk about visual input, multi-providers, how we can integrate automatically real-time doc search, of course, making safe in case, because we are going to access real-time information, we need to be careful with what data the agent can access. Then we are going to talk about MCP, guardrails, code execution, and then plugin generation. That's going to be like the pipeline, but we are going to split it in big milestones, um, in big milestones. Cool. Okay, the first one, skills. Super quick. Who has experience with the skills? Who has been working with the skills or has skills implementing in your daily work as a software engineering, or who is working with the skills today? Create skills myself. That's pretty nice. Cool. That was my second question. Like who is using skills and who is creating skills? I am a skill. Okay, yeah, perfect. Skills, the concept is very simple. If you already know, it's fine, but for the people that is not working with the skills, this is just Markdown files. The main idea was introduced by Anthropic, and it's just Markdown files that contains a sequence of steps that your agent has to do to be able to achieve something. And who create these skills? Usually is the person that has the expertise, but you can use agents to help you to create the skills. Like if you have good practices, if you share the knowledge to your agent can use that to be able to help you to create the skills. But of course, you have to read the skills and validate it. That is exactly what would you like to do, because the agent is gonna read this file all the time that they need it, and is gonna be able to use it. The structure, it's very dynamically, but the most important file is the skill markdown file that contains something that is the name and the description. Why this is important? Because if you say, okay, if it's just manifest file, it's like I just add context. And the reality is yes, but the difference is like you add context when the agent needed. That's why the agent only receives a name and a description, and then based on this description and name, they are able to define if they need the skills. If they need the skills, they inject the full file in your context, and then the agent is able to get that. But if you have a bad description or if you have a bad description, the agent is not gonna know when to use it. Now, with the skills, you can have more things. Like you can have things like additional scripts there. You can have reference, you can have assets, you can have all of these additional resources that can help the skill to be able to do something. For example, a simple thing could be if you need to do a step by step and a step 3, it's something that you have to execute with a specific format. You can add the code as a reference, and the agent can use that as a reference to be able to use the skill. That is powerful. Our agent has the option to install skills automatically. That means if you create your own skills, because you are the one that has the knowledge, if you create your own skill, you can just import this skill as a plugin in 51, and the agent that we have there is going to be able to read the skill as you do usually with cloud or with any model in local. It's exactly the same. You share the knowledge, but in this case, it's knowledge about your company, maybe something that you do usually. We usually have like step-by-step things in our company that we have to do it in that way because that's the way that works. Uh, you can upload all of this information and skills there to make it easier for the agent to reuse it. That is very, very powerful. Um, okay, what do you mean by description or name? Yes, let me just open one skill. Yeah, what I mean is at the beginning of the skill, there is name and description fields. These two fields, you define what is the main goal of this skill. And what a model do, let's say Cloud doesn't read all the skill. Cloud only go to the file and read the name and the description. The description is just text. And if the description is a line of what the user want to do, they call the fullest skill. That's why when I mean with name and ref and description, it's just what you put in the header of the skill to let the agent know what is the goal of what is the purpose of the skill. Cool. Please use the QA. I am more than happy to answer all the questions, but sometimes I can lose the question in the chat. Um, what is the difference between reference and assets? Sometimes reference for me, it's more like, let's say that a simple example, you have a skill that creates skills. Very simple example. You can have some reference, and in the reference, you can add some additional documentation of good practices to create the skills. And you can have multiple reference if it's valuable, no? Because you don't want to fill the context with information that is not important. And it's additional documentation that you want to include. And you can, in the skill file, in the main one, you can say something like, if you need this additional information, go to reference this file, and then the agent is not going to read everything. It's just going to read the skill markdown file. And if needed, it's going to go to the reference when you are going to have additional information that is valuable. Now, assets could be everything, like a template, a YAML file, a structure or that you need, as like a CSV file that you need to be able to do something. It's any resource. Think more like not tangible, but more like a resource that you can share, like a file. Cool, thank you. Okay. Just to let you know, you can install skills in FiftyOne the same way that you install plugins. It's exactly the same way. If you don't know how to install plugins, don't worry. I'm gonna share at the end the links. It's very simple, but you can install the skills and you can make that your agent get all of these contexts. Now, many people ask always, what is the difference between the agent's markdown file or the cloud markdown file? This is cloud markdown file if you use cloud models. And the difference is like this is something that first go in all the go in the context. Like when you use the agents, they always have this agent markdown file, and it's more like a general rules that the system needs. It's more general. The skills are more specific in process, in how to do it with best practices, in performance, in how you can make it in the most efficient way. Why you create agent markdown file to create the global rules, and then you create the skills to be able to actually go to a specific step by step. Some small tips that we applied and help us a lot. Always start from the user story. Like think like you are using if you're gonna use agents to help you to create the skills, it's okay. But start from the real story of what the user want to do and try to do like reverse engineering. And if the user want to do that, they have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's create this step by step in the skills, replicating what the user usually do. The second one, try to always have human feedback in the skills, because you don't want to create a skill that is super hard code. What that means? You don't want a skill that is everything the line is exactly what you have to do. The skill has to be more robust to make you like, that the agent know the direction, but they don't hard code all the results. And if you ask for human feedback, it's gonna allow you to make it more dynamically. You can say, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, until here, stop, and ask the user if this is what they are expecting. And just to add this small text in your skill, it's gonna help the agent to actually stop, ask the user, get feedback, and continue. Remember, this is a direction, it's not a hard code script, and it never finishes. Like you have to keep creating the skills, modifying updating, adding more information every day. Yes, yes, there is gonna be a recording, Stefan, and I'm gonna share this at the end of the session. Don't worry, we are gonna share it. Um, yes, could be everything, could be a website, but now I'm gonna make a small stop here. When you say a website, yes, you can put a website, but only if your agent has the tool to access the internet. If your agent doesn't have the tool to access the internet, it's gonna be a URL that is gonna say, I cannot fetch. And why I say that? Because if you are using skills in local, it's fine. Like you can say to your agent to access internet. But if you are having this agent in an enterprise account where you have data that is very like private. You don't want that your agent just can go to internet and do stuff. Usually we restrict these kind of tools to be able to protect the agent. And in that case, if you add a URL in the skill and the agent cannot go to internet, it's not gonna be able to use that resource. That's the only thing. But if you're using this skill in local, I think it's fine. Cool. There are things that you can do to actually evaluate your skills. And thank you for the people that is asking because make this more dynamically. You can add evaluations in your skills. Um, like you can first evaluate when you ask the question to the user if the skill is actually activated, and you say that's very simple. Yes, it's simple when you have 5 skills, but if you have hundreds of skills, it's very complicated to the agent, or it's harder to the agent to define what is the skill that they need. And if you have a not really good description, it's going to be hard to actually trigger. That's why you should have a way to evaluate if your skill is triggered in the time that you are expecting that has to be triggered. You can add as well like task completion rate, like how many times that they call the skill, it's able to actually finish and do the full skill. You can add things like cost, how much it's this skill saving, how much money it's this skill saving me. Let's say that you use the skills and it's $1 in tokens. Then you use not the skills and it's $5. That's mean that you are improving and reducing the cost of tokens thanks to the skills. But something can happen that is the opposite. You can have a skills that because has all of these steps, it's giving you it's costing it's more expensive to use it. And this is not bad, but you have to have that in account. And you can evaluate as well with LLM as a judge. Is another way to do it. Um, yes, I'm gonna give you demos in 1 minute. Yeah, let me just click here. I'm gonna show you demos. Will this slide be shared or recording of this? I'm getting this call. We're trying to pay attention. Okay. Yeah, Lisa, we are gonna share the video. We are gonna share the slides and everything. And as well, I'm gonna record a new video with better audio quality that I'm gonna share as well instead of this one because I feel that maybe the audio is not that good. But yeah, we are gonna share everything. Okay, answer your question. And Hola, multiple skills. This is one skills. It's very simple, but it's very powerful. This is my agent on the right. And I just want to, can you see the video? Can you see the video? It's bigger now. Are you able to see it? Yes. Okay. Um, you can say something using the skill. This is a skills that has like good practices of when you want to filter information in your data set, how you can do it. And the main idea is you can say something like based on the description, can you filter a video that happened at night and one person was involved? In that case, what the agent does, it's oh, and this one is not calling the skill. Don't worry, I'm gonna show you one that called the skills, but it's getting all the values and it's trying to filter based on night and on people. And it's automatically showing you that specific scenario where we have people and it's at night. And how the agent is able to do that, in this specific sample, it's because it's using the metadata that the video has. In this case, we have labels, we have object detection algorithms that detect the people. That's why we can do these kind of things. And we can play with oil, for example, people crossing across the street or pedestrians crossing on any of these kind of options. But yeah, this is an example of how we can use the skills to be able to do something. I have more examples where we actually call the skills. This is, I think this is a good example. You have a new data set. You just start your project, you are working with computer vision, they give you 1 million of images. And the first thing that you need to know is, okay, what is this? I have 1 million of images. Okay, let's upload this to 51 and let's ask, what does my data set looks like? What classes do I have? How many samples per classes? Like it's like a summarize of what is happening with my data set. And I can use as well skills to be able to describe what do you have to do when you have a new data set. In this case, the skill is going to say something like, okay, get the general information about number of images, get general information about samples, annotations, get information about the classes and balance. And you see a report like this. Okay, this is a data set that named traffic anomaly reasoning. It contained 203 videos. It has tags like NVIDIA because this is from NVIDIA, traffic anomaly. It tells you, okay, this data set was created using another 6 data sets, and it's giving you all of this information because they know what is the step by step that they have to follow. Thanks for a skill. Um, okay, yes, I'm gonna show the skill. 1 second. I love all the questions. I'm gonna try to move and then I'm gonna come back with the questions. Another ones, you can export. Like you create your model is super good, you want to export your data set, you can use any skills that actually, here we can see, I'm gonna show you the skill in 1 second. You can see that here we are invoking a skill. Let me see if I open it. No, I don't open it here. I have one that I open it to show you the structure. But this one, for example, the agent is automatically exporting the data set, saving you in GCP, and then you can just go and validate exporting. And I have more videos, and all of these functionalities are available. I have more videos. We just put this bigger. Like checking my data has bad training data, and it's applying brightness, blurriness. It's applying all of these kind of tools to be able to validate the quality of your data. And as you can see here, it's just one prompt. It's okay, help me to find bad images in my data set. And then start to run multiple tools. That's why what I say, it's like giving superpowers to your agent to be able to perform in a platform that is going to play the role as a harness, that is 51, to do all of these things. You can see that here it's calling all the functions, all the things to be able to give you the final results. That is, which image are with blurriness. This is, for example, with images with blurriness, or the quality is not that good. And you can see actually when you open it that maybe for the speed of the airplanes, it's not with good quality. Um, I have more examples, and all of this is gonna be available for you. I have compute embeddings. Like you just say, I need to enrich my data set. It called the skills. Then based on the previous experience, one way to improve your data set could be apply embedding model like clip, and then based on this embedding, apply some filtering. And this is what exactly this model does. And I have more and more videos. But before going there, let me just stop for a second because the idea of the workshop is answer all the questions. I'm gonna start with the first one, that is skills. Let me just show you one skill here. Let me see if I have one here. 1 second. 51. Okay. I know. We just with this, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna share again the desktop here. And let me just open 51 skills. And just to give you an idea, this is open source. You can just go and use it. Let's say we are going to use the import, 51 data set import. And I told you before, you can have more complex skills than other ones. You can have very simple skills, couple of commands, you can have more complex. This one is the skill markdown file. And if you see this with code, this is what I mentioned, that is like the name and the description. This is the name of the skill, this is the description. The agent only is gonna read this, only is gonna read this. And based on this, it's gonna say, okay, this is something that I can use or not. If it's something that they can use, they're gonna call all of this. It's just Markdown files. All it's Markdown files with a structure, where the command packages. If you're gonna work with 3D processing, has the good practices, has like a step-by-step thing that you have to do, and it's like following a guideline. You have one by one by one by one steps, and at the end, until the agent finish, it's gonna give you the response. But this is not like a hard code thing. You have multiple ways to do it, and depends on what you need. The agent is gonna decide which one they should use. You just come back here and come back to the questions. 1 second, 1 second. Okay. Okay. Let me just come back to the questions. Let me put this bigger. Okay. More questions. Can you show where the skill was defined? Yes, that was done. So 51 platform, give me the data sets of videos. What do we see here? Good question. No, 51 not give you any data set. You have your own data. We have data, open source data, like data sets that are available on internet, but the idea is like Voxel51, and specifically 51, the software, it's giving you the platform where you can import your data set and you can do the full pipeline. That's why you put your data. Something important that run in local, the open source one running local, that means that your data is in your computer. You don't have to worry about anything because the software is installed in your computer. We don't share anything. Now, if you move to enterprise, we help you with everything. Like we help you to provide the environment. We help you to provide all the resources that your team can use, compute, everything. Cool. Okay, let's continue because we have only 23 minutes more. Yes, I have many. Okay, let me just. Oh my God, if you can use the QA question, because I saw many questions in the chat and I don't want to, if you want to, if you have a question that I want to, that I just focus on, please write it in the QA and I'm going to answer that one. And yes, Mohammed, I'm gonna share how to get started. I just read that one. How to get started. I'm gonna share the links to start working in computer vision if it's the thing that you like, and as well, connect on me on LinkedIn. More than happy to give you more resources to get started in general, not in 51. I love 51. You should use it, but in general, in AI and physical AI data. Okay, okay. So good. So far. Okay, Vitaly. Adonai, do skills analyze all cameras simultaneously? This is more. This is more like you can put in the skills that analyze that simultaneously. You can say that in the skill, but this is more about the software that you have. Like if you want to analyze simultaneously, you have to have a way to do it. To answer your question, in 51, yes, we can run, depends of the compute, we can run some parallel compute where you create or analyze batches of images or batches of video or batches of cameras in a dynamically way. But this is more about like the resources that you have. And if you use 51 Enterprise, of course, we can provide all of this to make it easier and faster to you to analyze your data. Thank you for the question. Okay, now, so far, if you see, we just say about the skills. But if you remember the first slide, we have like a amount of amazing tools in 51. We just talk about skills. That is powerful because it's giving you the instruction of how to do it. But we have more stuff, and I want to show you all of that. One of the most interesting one is retrieve docs in real time. Why this is important? Because usually agents, they need to fetch information. They need to go to internet, they need to get information, they need to understand what is happening. But it's extremely dangerous to create a sandbox in your system that you want to make safe and then just give it access to internet, because then they can fetch information that maybe you don't want to integrate. That's why what we did here was we have a partner and a product that is amazing, that is Kappa Agent, and they have a model that is like a SDK called It's like an MCP tool that we can connect to our agent, and actually we can in real time be able to retrieve all our docs in a safety way. And now, if you can see here in this screen, we are, look, you can see here the skill, the name. We are just using the Search 51 knowledge source from Kappa agents that is using our docs and is giving you real-time example of how to do it. Why this is powerful? Because sometimes you don't want to do it in the platform. You want to do it in code. You want to run the SDK. You can just ask the user, ask the agent how to do it, and they're going to be able to retrieve in real time, say in a safety way, all the information that you need. Cool. Cool. Um, okay, let's move to the next one. That is MCP. And in MCP, for me, MCP is extremely powerful because this protocol allow you to connect with resources in a standard way. And some people ask me, why do you use MCP? Why you don't use CLI? Or why you don't use, like, the agent can create code and can do all the things that you are creating in MCP? And the reason is the same as before. You need to create a system that is safe. That means that you cannot bring CLI to your agent, because now your agent is going to be able to read files, remove files, and do a big amount of things. You don't want that. You want that your agents only do the things that you want that the agent does do. That's why when you create MCP, you are able to limit and say, okay, this is the tools that you can use this format, use this output, and use this as an standard. And that's exactly what we do. And now here, very powerful. 51 has one of the most powerful things that this platform has. It's like a plugin ecosystem. We have more than, I don't know, more hundred of plugins. What is a plugin? Just think like a small portion of code that you create custom for you and that you want to run in 51. Because we have this ecosystem, you can write code, use yourself or any agent, and then you can use that as a plugin. Very, very powerful. And when we integrate here using this MCP code, is the option that you can call your custom plugins operators. You just have to install the plugin, and then this is gonna be easy for the agent to discover using the list operator, and then using the list operator, they are gonna be able to see all the custom plugin that you create, and it's gonna be able to call. Multiple people ask me always like, okay, this is cool. How can I make that my agent all my tools? Yes, you have to install your tool, and that's all. Cool. Let's move to the part of multi-providers. I say before, we are a harness. We are not creating an agent. We don't want to be the experts in the agent. That is a world. This is like a different world where big companies like Meta, Nvidia, Google is creating models every day. We want that you can integrate your own agent. What this means? You can, if you have an agent, you can just integrate it. You can use Gemini. You can use your Google subscription. You can use what Gemini Google subscription. You can use cloud. You can use OpenAI models, any version GPT. You can create your custom models. Like a couple of weeks ago, I created a tutorial where you can use Gemma 4 or any Gemma that you want, and I deployed it in local in my computer. And then I shared this model to the agent, and the agent was able to actually use my local computer to run the agent and integrate it in the platform. It's amazing. And because for me, it's extremely important to understand what specific model are you using today? Like, what is the favorite model that you are using? Are you using OpenAI? Are you using Cloud 3.5? I don't know, very old. Or Cloud Sonnet 5? Or are you using, which model are you using today? And I think that you use it because it's the most powerful, or it's maybe because it's expensive. It's not that expensive. I just want to know which models are you using today? Frog, Bedrock, Sonnet, amazing. Opus models, Rock, cool, cool. That's super good. Gemini, someone use Gemini or not Gemini today? Gemini is powerful. No, no, looks like no Gemini. Okay, the idea is like you can use your own agent here without any problem. It's just connected to the harness. Okay, we have 15 minutes more and we are running out of time. Um, that's why tell you about Guardrails. Um, all of this is cool, but we need a way to protect our system. Like we need a way where we can run the things and be safe that it's not gonna break something or it's not gonna affect something. And we apply multiple uh, protections in our system. One of the most simple one that is very important, it's the label of risk, where each of the tools that you have has a label of risk. That could be like a low risk, medium or high risk, or something that is very dangerous. Example, if you want to remove one sample in your data set, that is risky. You don't want to remove data. You don't want to do that. That's why these kind of actions are in the category of dangerous. But you can have things like, okay, let's filter. If you filter, you can just click and remove the filter. It's just an action. That case is low. And we have this distributed with all the tools that the agent has in a way that you can play with the agent and you are going to be safe that the agent is not going to do something incorrectly. Of course, it is something important. There are human confirmation that if you say yes, I need to remove it, it's something that I want to do, and you are giving this permission to the agent, um, it's going to do it. Why we allow that? Because we know that you want to do sometimes stuff that maybe is dangerous, but you need to do it. Why we are allowing the user to accept uh, if they want to do a specific dangerous action. Okay, last part is gonna be tool. Um, last part is gonna be tool, and I'm gonna answer questions. Do I need to have these videos and image annotated before the agent detect the objects? How does the model training happen on this images video and how it gets integrated into the skills? Amazing questions. First, no, you don't have to have anything annotated. You can have your plain data and you can upload to the dataset. Now, the question is, when the agent is going to try to, for example, if you say find the people in the images, the agent can do that in hundreds of different ways, multiple ones. One could be like run an inference model of a pre-trained model like YOLO or RTDTR or any model that you want, and there are some open source. The agent can suggest you to why you don't run this model, and then if you say yes, let's do it, they can use an operator that we have and can run the inference. This is something that we can do. We can do we can do that step. It's completely good, but you have to do it. Like you have to guide the agent of what would you like to do it, because this is one option. Other option is you don't want to actually run object detection. What would you like to do is just apply an embedding model, or if it's a video, for example, you can apply embeddings of a video, and then based on this embedding, you can do semantic search. That is something that you can do. That is another different route, different path that you can follow. That's why what the agent is gonna try to do when you have a plain text, it suggests you things, and based on what we would like to see, you can say, okay, let's do this branch. And of course, depends of the branch, there's gonna be more complexity in time that is gonna be aligned to cost. Now, if you want, that is the second question. How is the training? Okay, this is cool, but how is the training of these models? It's exactly the same. You can use we are not focused in training. I just want to say that you can do it because we are very dynamical, very like elastic. But if you want to train the model, we have a new feature that I'm gonna show you in the next slide that allow you to create code. That's why you can say use the develop plugin skill, that is a skill, to help me to train a model. And what this skill is gonna do, it's going to help you to create all the code that you need to train a model using the 51 format, and then you're gonna be able to run it. That's why you combine the skills that is gonna explain the agent how to create a plugin using 51, and then you add the context that is, I want to train a model. Cool. Let's keep moving. What are the minimum requirements for hardware and software to analyze 1 camera, 10 cameras, 50 cameras? That is, I'm gonna give you my answer based on not this, but based on a product that I created 6 years ago. That is computer vision for physical AI for physical stores. That means we have a product that was connect the cameras in a mall, and we get the streaming of the videos, and then we apply like object detection algorithm to detect how many people enter to the place, how many are men, women, age, if there are pets, and the quality, like the number of cameras that you can support, uh, it's not that simple to answer because you have to take in account first the quality of the camera. If you have high quality, bigger images, more cost, you have to define how many frames per second you want to use. Sometimes you have a video with 30 frames per second, but you don't need all the frames per second. You can have like a small portion of frames per second, I don't know, like 10 frames per second, and you are gonna reduce cost. And you can do these kind of things dynamically. That's like the main idea. Um, but yeah, if you want to connect with me, I can answer more specific question. But yeah, it's annotation is very painful, super painful. Um, can you give me tutorials where to start the basic of AI and agents? Yes, at the end of the presentation, we are gonna at the end no, we are gonna send an email in the next 2 days, and you can use that email to actually get some resources of how to start. We have amazing getting started guides in 51. Let me just provide you 1 second. I can give you some here, but at the end of the presentation, I can share you more. We have these getting started that are extremely powerful and that can help you to start here, Mohammed. And then I'm gonna share more at the end. Okay, let's move with the last 8 minutes of this presentation. Let me just make this bigger. I just want to show you one of the powerful one. Yeah. Okay. We talk about the skills. We talk about MCP. We talk about all of these tools that you can use, but we have additional tools. These additional tools help you to do a specific task. We have tools like one that is new one was released less than 2 weeks. That is the agentic leveling. And this one is aligned for the people that was asking about training. The agentic leveling, it's an agent actually that help you to using VLMs. You have to train. You can custom the agent, but it's going to help you to actually create a model with a specific task. In this case, I say to the agent, can you write, can you write a caption for each of the images describing what is wrong with in like the general pipeline, it's like you have to create a model to detect defects. That's the traditional thing. But what we are using here, it's the agent, 51 agent. It's using agentic leveling, that is a new resources, and it's calling this server, this system, to be able to, without training, find defects in the images. And how they do that, it's using a skill. We already know what is a skill. It's able to open the agent. It's able to create a new run where they put a caption and say this it's this caption. 1 second. It has a caption that the same agent created, the same agent defined the caption. Like I would like to find damage in in my data set, and then run this caption in the full data set or a specific portion of the data set, and then create a description. If you go here, let me just open it here. You can see that here, you can see based on the image provided, there is a new damage description on the right here. And I didn't train a model. I didn't fine tune anything. I just use VLMs that are able to get the context of, in this case, apply some classification of or in this case a description of an image, and then I can use that description to be able to then filter. Okay, help me to filter the one that has something weird, and then filter, and you can see specifically that there is something wrong. There is something wrong in that specific image, and this is part of what we are moving on. It's how we can connect our 51 agent to tools very powerful like the agentic leveling, and we have more. We have more tools. Um, you're gonna close with one or two more. We have tools like the agent can help you to create the pipeline to leveling. For the people that is leveling, that is very painful. We have this agent that help you to create like the tools, like the workflow to help you to leveling. It's not making the leveling, it's distributing the work in your team to be able to make that some people annotate and other people review. But everything is just using is using the agent directly. It's extremely interesting. We have more tools, like this is my favorite one, and actually I'm gonna have a session about this because this one is allow you to write code. Literally can create the code, can go and create the plugin that you need to train your model or do a specific task. Um, we have more tools like take a screenshot. You just go click and you take a screenshot, and then you can send this context to the agent. We create a very powerful agent that as well can work with multimodalities, can work with sensor data, can work with the GPS. You don't have to read all of that. You can have everything in one place. Thanks for the amazing thing that the multimodality team did in 51. And then you can use that as well as a resources. And we have more things coming up, like indexing MCAP files using the agent. I have a live demo, but for times I just gonna jump to to the things that are next, and then I'm gonna answer some of the question. And we're gonna have more workshops. Thank you so much for the people that are asking things. That's amazing. What is next? We would like to integrate more the multimodality context. That's mean that you are able to don't only send the image, but actually don't know, we don't send the image to the model. At least, like you can send it if you take a screenshot, but we don't send the image itself. But we are thinking to make this more like be able to send information that you need to train a model to the agent as well. This is one thing that we would like to explore. The sandboxes are very powerful. We have a way to do it today, but we would like to extend it and create a bigger sandbox where you can feel completely safe that your model is running in a server without your code. And of course, we are inviting people to write more skills and integrate more skills. If you like this, if you want to keep exploring, um, for the people, I think Mohammed asked me about resources. On the left, many resources. On the right, this QR code, it's gonna help you to book a demo. If you want to explore more, if you want to actually see how this is working today, just book a demo, and then it's gonna be, I gonna help you to connect with some of our team to help you with your full pipeline. And yeah, just to finish, if you want to connect with me, let's connect on LinkedIn. If you want resources, send me a message. I am more than happy to help. I love like teach and I love to learn as well with new people. That's why just connect with me. And in this last 1 minute, I'm just gonna go and answer some of the questions that I saw here. I think there is one more. Yes, in the QA. Remember to use the QA. Yes, you need to describe the damage. That's a good point. And actually, right now, what I did was extremely simple. It was just like find defects. But if you have the domain knowledge, Kieran, you can say, okay, this is a defect. You are using a VLM. This is a defect. This is the kind of defect that I am expecting. And then the agent can use that to actually find the best the issues that exist. And yeah, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the patience with the sounds. And yeah, very exciting. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Kieran. I love it. Thank you, Lisa. That's amazing. I use I use Cloud Code. I use Cloud Code a lot. I love Cloud Code. Uh, I am a GDE, a Google Developer Expert. I use Gemini as well for other things, but for my daily, I use Cloud Code. Just send me a message, Mohammed, and we can discuss. What is your goal in life? You were the one that said that you are a skill, no? My goal in life is there are many. It's great technology that can change the world in a positive way. Yes, that's my goal. Cloud code, Lisa, the second one, cloud code, like Anthropic one more. Yeah.